For my first inhibition exercise, I'm going to be doing self-myofascial release on the calf. I'm going to be targeting specifically the gastrocs as well as the soleus. So I'm going to start seated on the ground. I'm going to have both legs out straight in front of me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the foam roller underneath directly on my gastroc. For this exercise, you can either go with a single leg on here, or if you want to add some additional pressure to get a deeper release, you can put the other leg over top. What we're going to do is we're just going to go back and forth, holding on the calf, about 30 seconds. If you find any spots that tend to be especially tender, you just want to find that spot and then you want to sit on it for about 30 seconds or so. This just gives it a little bit additional release. It's going to release a lot quicker than if you were to just roll back and forth. Otherwise, you're just going to roll back and forth over top of the spot, the muscle, for about 30 seconds. That's self-myofascial release of the gastroc and the soleus. For my second inhibition exercise, I'm going to be doing self-myofascial release on the hamstring. I'm going to be specifically targeting the biceps femoris. So again, I'm going to start seated on the ground. I'm going to have my legs straight out in front of me. I'm going to place the roller directly underneath my biceps femoris. You can either do one at a time, again crossing the opposite leg over top of the one you're targeting, or if you want, you can go two at a time, or you'll just place it directly underneath of both. Do a little demonstration of each. So you're just going to go back and forth over top of the muscle. Again, if you find any spots that are especially tender, you can just sit on those muscles, because you're going to get a little bit quicker release on that spot. Then if you want to put a little bit more pressure on while you're completing the self-myofascial release, you can just cross the one leg over the top. It's just going to push a little bit harder. It'll again cause a quick release on the muscle. Just go back and forth on either one of those two. You're going to go for approximately 30 seconds. Right. That's the self-myofascial release of the biceps femoris. Right, so for my first lengthen exercise, I'm going to be doing a hamstring stretch. There's a few names that are commonly used for this. Typically, it's either called a hamstring stretch or it's called a one leg in, one leg out stretch. So I'm going to start, I'm going to be seated on the ground. Complete this stretch, I'm going to start with my right leg out. So I'm going to bring my left leg in. I'm going to have my foot directly on my inner quad. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be leaning forward. I'm going to be reaching out, trying to touch my toes. I can just barely get towards touching my toes on this leg. Hold this for a few seconds just for a quick demonstration. Again, you should be feeling this stretch directly down the entirety of your hamstring. I'll show it on the other side. So on this side, I'm just going to have my left leg out. I'm going to bring my right foot in, again directly on the inside of my thigh. I'm not nearly as flexible on my left side, so I'm just going to go as far as I can to try to demonstrate this. You should be holding this stretch for approximately 20 to 30 seconds on each side. Probably just doing one set of each before you do any kind of activity beforehand is all right, and then about 20 to 30 seconds again afterwards when you're doing your stretching routine. All right, so for my second lengthening exercise, I'm going to be doing a kneeling lunge. This is going to be targeting my quad muscles. I'm going to be specifically targeting the soleus, my quad muscles. So I'm going to start down. I'm going to be down kneeling on one knee. I'm going to have this leg straight out behind me where it's bent at 90 degrees at the knee. I'm going to have this one also bent at 90 degrees at the knee, but it's going to be up in front of me. There's different variations you can do off of this. You can do a kneeling lunge with a twist. Might get a little bit more of a feeling of a stretch in your back. You can stretch upward if you want. You might get a little bit of a stretch feeling in your lats. Or you can just sit plain where you are, and you'll be feeling it just solely in your soleus. So again, you're going to hold that for about 20 to 30 seconds on one side. After that, you'll switch to the other side. So again, this knee is going to be bent up in front of you, 90 degrees bent at the knee. Then the other leg's going to be bent 90 degrees at the knee again, but it's going to be back behind you. And again, you can do a rotation to the side, or you might feel a little bit of a stretch in your back. Bring your arms up, or you might feel a little bit of a stretch in your lats. Or you can just sit straight up where you are and you'll get strictly in your soleus. Again, hold it for about 20 to 30 seconds on each side. This can be performed both before and after partaking in active competition. All right, so the first strengthening exercise I'm going to be doing is going to be a double leg calf raise. It says it straight in the name of the exercise. The muscle I'm going to be targeting is the calves. I'm going to be specifically looking at the gastrocs in this exercise. And this exercise can be done either with weights by your side or without weights. It all depends on what you're comfortable with, what your level of training is, whatever your personal preference is. So I'll do a demonstration of both. So for doing it without weights, you're going to start both feet flat on the ground, approximately shoulder width apart. You have your body up in neutral. You're going to be going up, you're going to be going in plantar flexion. So your feet will be in plantar flexion. You're just bringing your heels up off the ground. You're going back down, nice, slow, controlled movement to performing the exercise. Then if you want to add weights for the exercise, you simply just pick up the dumbbells. You can hold them by your side as you're doing this. This keeps the weight down closer towards the muscle that you're targeting. Or if you want to make it a bit more of a complex exercise, you can put them up here. And as you go up, the calf raise, you can incorporate a bit of a shoulder press in the exercise. For this exercise, you're going to want to do approximately 8 to 10 reps because you're performing it on both legs. You're not going to need to go any more than that because you're getting to work on both legs on every rep. So you're just going to go about 8 to 10 reps on that, a nice controlled tempo. You'll do this for approximately 2 to 3 sets at the beginning of your workout. Alright, so second strengthening exercise I'm going to do is going to be a squat. You can incorporate weight into the squat or you can do it with just your body weight. I'll do a demonstration of both. So for just a normal squat, you're going to want to start with your feet shoulder width apart. You're going to want to have your toes facing straight forward. You want to make sure that your body is neutral. You're going to be facing straight forward. You can do it either with your hands overhead. You can do them out in front. You can do it just straight by your side. I'm going to do them out in front of you. So what you want to do when you do your squat is you want to make sure that your knees are staying straight. They want to be right over top of your second toe. As you're going, you want to make sure you're not turning out to the side or turning inward at all. For a nice, slow, controlled tempo, this exercise is going to be targeting the hamstrings and the quads specifically. So then if you want to add weight into the exercise, you can add a barbell on your back. I'm going to do it on my back. Some people like to do it at the front. It all depends on the person. So walk up to the barbell. Make sure you're right in the middle. Again, you want to have your feet straight forward, about shoulder width apart. Again, as you're going down, especially since you're adding weight, you want to have a nice controlled tempo. Going down, making sure your knees are staying straight over top of your second toe. When you add weight on your back, that's going to be specifically targeting your quads a bit more than your hamstrings. If you were to bring the weight into the front of your body, it's going to be more of a hamstring targeted exercise. Just make sure you're going with a nice, slow, controlled tempo. Wrap your arms all together. For this exercise, you want to go for approximately 3 sets. The reps are going to depend on what percentage of your 1 RM max you're using for load. So you'll be able to calculate that as you're doing the exercise, find out what weight you should be going at based on the amount of reps you're going to be doing per set. Right, for my first dynamic movement exercise, I'm going to be doing an exercise that's going to be targeting calf muscles, specifically the gastroc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start down, push-up position. I'm going to have this foot in a normal push-up position. I'm going to bring this one over the back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to slowly push my heel of my left foot to the ground. This is going to be targeting the hamstring. This is going to be targeting the calf. You're going to be activating this muscle as you're doing the exercise. So you want to do this for about probably 6 to 10 reps per side. You can do this for about 2 to 3 sets at the start of your workout to get the calves activated and integrated into the exercise. Again, on the same side, you're just pushing down the heel, really looking to feel that activation in your gastrocs. Alright, so for my second integration dynamic movement exercise, I'm going to be doing forward and backward leg kicks. You can do this either on the spot, or you can do it moving forward and backwards. This is going to be targeting the hamstring specifically. What you're going to do is you're going to start, you're going to be in neutral. You're going to have your feet shoulder width apart, toes facing straight forward. What you're going to do is you're going to kick forward. You're going to be looking to feel the integration of your hamstring muscle. Then you can kick backwards, forwards, backwards. And the same thing on the left leg, forwards and backwards. You can also do this exercise moving forward. You don't have to just stand in one spot, so you can go. You can either go the same way, back and forth, or you can do it alternating legs. And then you can also do this exercise kicking backwards. There's all kinds of variations you can use on this. It just depends on your personal preference and what you're comfortable with. You should do this exercise approximately 6 to 8 reps. You do about 2 to 3 sets at the beginning of your exercise. It's a really good way to get your hamstrings warmed up and ready to go for competition.